Hey, and welcome. My name is Corey. This is your weekly dose of Monday mornings coaching with Corey. So excited to have you. Yeah, it's another Monday. I used to dread coming to Mondays. I used to live for Fridays. Oh my goodness, it's Friday here. Now I live for Mondays. It's so crazy. So crazy. So drop me a little hello as you guys are coming on. I want to give some shout outs this morning. Today I'm going to be talking to you about 3 ways that you can shift your mindset. Actually a lot of breath. I just ran up the stairs. I'm like, it's 8. I got to get on. To shift your mindset on your value, understanding your value. So if you haven't seen it, after I do the live, go to my personal page, and I did a value post yesterday. That's powerful. It's super powerful. So what I'm going to do today is give you 3 tips on how you can shift your mindset on your value and how that's going to change everything else for the world. Note to self, don't try run. I had to refill my tea. And I was like, I'm going to be late. And I had to run downstairs and run up the stairs. I look forward to the day where I don't have a 2-story house. Like I like 1 story. It's on the same level. It's up and down. Good morning, Susan. We got you in the house. So happy that you're here. All right, you guys, let me ask you, have you ever questioned your own personal value? Like personally you. And what I say is like I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not this, or I'm not that, or I'm not like she is, or I can't do it like he does it, or have you ever felt that? So drop me a comment down below. One, it lets me know. I'm just checking for comments just because there's a delay and I could see it faster this way. If you've ever questioned your own value, drop me a little emoji down there, right? Because it happens. For so long, right? And if you've been stuck around with me long enough, you know that, yeah, I struggled with this. This was like a really big turning point for me. So I was feeling this weekend, talking to a few people and doing some of my one-on-one coaching clients. Value is so important, and especially if you're an entrepreneur and you're in business, this is why it matters, right? Susan's like, the FBI has helped me really look deeply at this. I love that. Yes. So Susan is in the Freedom Boss Institute. She's a freedom boss. And we really get deep into this. So I want to touch on it a bit as why does it matter so much? And why do you guys hear me talk about the value of yourself and your value ladder for your sales pitches, right? It's like taking them on the value ladder. Why does that matter in entrepreneurship and sales? Why? Hey, Angela, welcome to the party. It matters. So I want you guys to drop down below. Like, do you think, because there is a total correlation between your own personal belief in your own value and how you're selling. Like, blow your mind away. They are so exactly parallel, because here's the thing. If I don't believe that I'm good enough, like back where I was, we'll go back 10 years, like rewind, what was that? Reverse, right? You go back 10 years for me, and that I didn't think I was good enough. I didn't think that I had anything to contribute to society, to my job, to any relationship I was in at the time, right? So I value myself down here. Well, at that time, I wasn't actually in business, so I wasn't selling anything. But I also felt that people who were selling anything were sleazy and slimy and yucky, and they're just out to get me, like all of this negative stuff. This is why they go hand in hand, right? Susan is like, if you see the value, others will. Yes, like poof. So big mindset shift for me is about, so I started my business 6 years ago. And about 5 years ago, so I'd been in business for about a year, and I hadn't fully invested in the fact of making it a business. It was still, if I'm totally honest, I handled it like a hobby. Like, I still had my full-time job. My intent was to build up my side hustle. I wanted to be able to leave my full-time job, but I was just treating it like a hobby. Like, I was seriously hanging out. I talked to a couple people here and there. I'd get upset, like, oh, well, so-and-so didn't want to buy from me. And then I'd go like, oh, I'm not good enough anyway. So I didn't fully invest in it. And I did that for almost a year. It was just shy of a year. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, I really want to leave my full-time job because I want time freedom and financial freedom, and I want all these things. I needed to do something different. And I knew if I could call myself out that I actually needed to put in more effective work. What I was doing is I was just busy. I would literally just fill up my calendar with stupid stuff of, oh, well, I have to go check my Instagram. I have to go do this and that. And none of it is actually converting to sales. So I couldn't call myself out enough to make the shift for me. So I got a coach. And during, I think it was my first coaching call with this coach. And I, went into this whole just spilling total word vomit about how unworthy I was, how I didn't know anything, how I couldn't be as good as all these other people who were kind of in the same niche. I couldn't do it. And this coach says to me, and I'm totally paraphrasing, he says, how you tell people how to treat you, and you tell them what your worth is. And I sat on that for a minute. I sat on that. You tell people how to treat you, and you tell them what your worth is. Like, powerful stuff. So I had to sit on that, and I soaked it in. And this is where it comes out, is if I don't like how somebody is treating me, it's not necessarily, I'm not one to say, oh, it's your fault, but it's my fault. If I don't like how someone is treating me, it's my fault. Because I'm telling them, whether it be consciously or subconsciously, that it's okay to do this. It's okay to treat me this way. It's okay to talk to me this way. It's okay to not value me this way. I'm telling them that, whether verbally, non-verbally, subconscious, consciously, there's that exchange. So when I started to really work on my own mindset and believe in myself so much more, and I'm going to give you guys some tips, 3 tips that you can start using today to increase your own belief in your value. So when I started doing that, one, people started treating me different. They started talking to me different. And then the ones that didn't, so the ones that were still like down here at the bottom in the mud, I felt so light to just shut them off. So I unfriended those people on Facebook. I just stopped talking to them. I stopped hanging out with them. So I made that decision because I was more valuable than what I had allowed them to treat me, to talk to me. So the same thing goes with business. When I started valuing not only myself, my abilities, because as a service provider, I had to value what I give and how I can help people. And I really, truly believe 1,000% that I have tools that can help change people's lives. I believe that. Now, I didn't then. I thought that, oh, here's just the strategy, because I have a strategy in mind, right? So I could pull things together and I could say, this and this and this. So there's that strategy. But once I added on the fact that I am valuable, this stuff is valuable, my way of teaching it can connect with people, can change people's lives. Oh my goodness, that just 10x'd my whole business because I believed in it. And then on twofold is that when I had that belief in myself and I could put it out there. So consciously I could tell people verbally, non-verbally, there's that exchange. Then they started seeing the power of the impact that it could be. Like how cool, Drop me down a comment below and tell me, is that something that you would like to have in your business? Like, do you want to 10x your business? Like, I know it's total like stealing that from Grant, not stealing, I'm borrowing it from Grant Cardone. If any of you guys follow, he's big on sales, kind of rough around the edges. So if you don't mind that thing, he's totally cool, but I love picking up some value. So 10x. So if you're making $1,000 a month in your business, how do you go to 10x that? Like, do you want to 10x that? Susan says, of course, I want to 10x the business. And it's not just on the dollar sign. So yeah, I want to 10x the dollar amount, but I also want to 10x the impact. So you guys know that I talk about it all the time is impact equals income. So if you're making an impact in somebody's life, you're serving, you're providing that relationship level, you're changing someone's life at whatever it is that you do in your zone of genius. When you change someone's life and you take that from that point to, I'm going to take it to the next level and I'm going to say, yes, I can get it done. You're going to 10x their impact and 10x your income. Like, so cool. Hey, Chris, thanks for popping on. Yeah. So you guys definitely want to pop in and do that. So let's get into just 3 quick tips. Now, these are things that I still do today. So even though going back like over 5 years ago when I had that one coaching call and that person just shifted my mindset. So I want to give you that perspective shift. So drop me a little emoji. Give me a happy face. It's Happy Monday. So we're going to, oh my goodness. I love this. You guys are awesome. I love it. You guys are showing up here, rocking out on a Monday and working on the mindset. 90% of everything that you do on every day is based in mindset. And this is just the thing nobody's talking about. People aren't talking about it to the point where they can actually shift. They'll say things like, this is things that people used to say to me. It was, oh, just go over it. Oh, you're going to be fine. All that does is like sweeping dirt under a rug and covering it up. And then eventually the pile of dirt is going to get really big. And you're like, why is this rug a great big mountain? Why is this here? I'm going to give you just 3 tips. And they're things I still do today. I still do them today. And some I do every single day. And some I do a few times a week. Right? So whatever you figure out that works with you, that's what I want you to start doing. Number 1, if you have heard of it before, it's affirmations. Okay. Now, when I first started doing this, I didn't fully grasp the power because I actually called myself a big fat liar. So that's where tip number 2 comes in. And I'll talk about that. So if you have ever done affirmations and you felt like if for me, I would do it, I'd stand in front of a mirror, right, and look in front of a mirror, look at myself, and I'd say my affirmation. And I would then say, nah, you're just a big fat liar. Like, no, right? So then I came up with tip number 2. But an affirmation is a power statement. And a power statement is I am, like in the present tense, I am fill in the blank. I am worthy. Okay. That's one. I want you guys to drop some examples down in the comments because I'm sure you guys have some amazing affirmations, right? I am incredible. I am inspirational. I am successful. I am growing my business every day. I am attracting money to me every day. I am attracting the right people into my business every day. I'm attracting new customers every day. Because I do affirmations all the time, and they're always different, I'm just coming up with these off the top of my head. And it makes me feel amazing because I can make that shift. Right? So I am fill in the blank. I want you guys to drop some examples down. They're so cool. And then borrow each other's. Right? So if you're not necessarily feeling totally, worthy, or just you're devaluing yourself, then use my affirmation of I am enough. That is one I do every day. I am enough. I am incredible is another one. If you want to be inspirational, right? Or if you want to relate to your audience. So I am relatable, right? And then come into your zone of genius. So it's like, I am silly, I am happy, I am goofy, I am all of these incredible things that you are. Like, stake claim in that and be like, this is me and I love it. And I love me so much. So you turn this inward. And this, you can call it a selfish, like we're totally going to get selfish, is you're going to have a selfish shift. Because when you're selfish and you're valuing yourself more, other people are going to value you more, and they're going to value your products, service, or opportunity more. Like, this is how you 10x it, but you have to get to the core, and you are the core. Susan is, I am love, I am authentic. These are awesome, you guys. So yeah, keep dropping those down in the comments. So it's that I am statement. I am something, right? I am something amazing. And when I started it, I would say, I am enough. I am enough. And I would say it over and over and over again, because that repetition of what you're telling yourself sticks in the brain. But I'm looking in the mirror at myself and saying, I am enough. And my facial expression is like, no, you big fat liar. You are not telling the truth. I don't believe you. Nope. Don't try telling me that stuff. That's what my facial expression was telling me. So if you go into verbal and nonverbal, and I could feel it all in my body, like my shoulders were rounded forward and I was down and I was sad, and all of this. Even though if I bring myself into what they call a power stance, so you round your shoulders back, I'm standing up tall, I take my fists and I put them on my hips, kind of like Wonder Woman. Even if I did this, I would still visually be telling myself, you are a big liar. Liar, liar, pants on fire. So I had this conversation with my coach, and it's the same coach who shifted my perspective on how I needed to see my value, right? And he says, okay, really cool thing with the brain. So this is tip number 2. Really cool thing with the brain is the brain is going to search for an answer. It's going to always be searching for an answer if you ask it the right question. So for example, if a little kid says, why is the sky blue? The kid's brain is trying to figure it out and trying to make sense of why is the sky blue, and you are trying to figure out and make sense. So maybe you make something up because it's an answer, or maybe the resource is over here, let me go look it up, or let me go do this and let me try to figure out why is the sky blue, and you're looking for the answer, right? Because you've asked it the right question. So if you take that affirmation where you're making the I am statement and you don't believe it, this next tip is perfect for you guys, right? This is what shifted for me. And I had to do this first before I could go back into just affirmations, right? Good morning, Ileana. It's okay. You can join us late. It's okay. So for those of you who say affirmations, or you've heard of it before and you've tried it and you're like, this just sucks because I don't believe myself, this second tip, I want you to start picking it up. So it's going to change your life, is ask yourself a question. So instead of saying I am worthy, and then hearing the liar, liar, pants on fire, like the little devil Corey that sits on the shoulder, instead of that, then I would say, why am I so worthy? So I am worthy, power statement, right? That's an affirmation. But if you don't believe it, that's going to keep you small. And we want you to grow and get big and change people's lives and make an impact. So we shift it over to, why am I so worthy? Because here's what's going to happen. My brain's going to look for an answer. I gave it an awesome question, like an awesome question. It's why am I so worthy? Because you're like, oh, I helped this person. Oh, I followed up with this person. Oh, she needed some help and I did this. Or, someone was walking into the store and I held the door open for them. It could be little things, big things, but your brain is going to come up with a list. It's going to be like, oh, you're this because of this, because of this, because of that. And then I get goosebumps. Like, you're going to be like, oh my goodness, I am worthy. Then you're going to come back and you're going to believe it. You're going to look at yourself and be like, heck yeah, I'm worthy. Right? So this could be with anything, right? So back with Susan's, I see one of Susan's on here was, I am authentic. So if you look at yourself in the mirror as you say that, and maybe you don't believe it, then you can shift it to, why am I so authentic? Your brain's going to come up with answers and is going to help you build belief in yourself. You guys, this is transformational stuff. Like, if you take away one thing from this training, take away this. Transformational. I swear to goodness, and all things that are happy, like unicorns and rainbows and angels everywhere, this is going to change your life. Guarantee it. Now, here's the thing, right? With mindset, think of your birthday, right? You don't have to put it in the comments. That's okay. You don't have to. Think of your birthday. How old are you today? How old are you today? That's how old your brain is. And your brain has possibly been telling you all of this muddy junk for that number of years, X number of years. Your brain's been telling it to you for that long. That means that if you just pick up this one thing and you try to do an affirmation, or you try to do your ask yourself the question, and you try it today, you're like, okay, Corey, I'll give it a shot. And you go into the bathroom and you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, I am worthy. I am worthy. And you're like, liar, pants on face. Okay, fine. I'll try Corey's thing with asking a question. And actually, it's my coach's thing. So you go, why am I so worthy? And you do it today. You start to feel a little better today, but then you don't do it tomorrow. And then you don't do it on Wednesday. And then you don't do it the next day or the next day. And then you come back next week and you're like, well, I tried it and it doesn't work. That's not how this stuff works. Right? Your brain took this number of years. Susan's 28. Woo! I'm 29 and holding. So you take all of this. It's going to take, you got to reverse engineer it. You got repetition. Because your brain is powerful, although it's not smart. By itself, it's not smart. You make it smart, depending on how you speak to it. But your brain by itself, it's not smart. It's super powerful, so we have to reverse engineer it. And I want you guys to stick with it. So make a commitment today. Right? I'm going to give you 3 tips. Right? I've given you 2. I've got 1 more to go. So I'm giving you 3 tips. Pick one. You don't have to do them all. Right? You could try them all today and see which one resonates the best with you. Whatever works for me might not be the exact best thing for you. And that's okay. We're all different human beings. But pick one and challenge yourself to stick with it and do it every day for at least 7 days. Now, there's a ton of studies that say it takes 21 consecutive days of doing something before it becomes a new habit. But you can't even start a new habit if you don't stick to it for 7 days. So try it. I challenge yourself. Pick one of these and stick with it for 7 days and start changing your life. Because if you're changing your life, guess what? Your bank account's going to get bigger. I guarantee you. I guarantee it's going to happen. Guarantee you it will happen. I know, it's me just being silly. Right, so those are the first 2 tips. Affirmations. The other one, my coach, his name is Noah St. John. Right, I can drop his information down below. In my resource page, I've got 2 of his amazing courses. You should definitely check those out if you want to do some mindset stuff. But he's really cool. So anyway, he came up with affirmations. For meaning ask yourself a question. It's a spin-off of affirmations. So he came up with that terminology. He came up with the idea, and I think it's awesome. So there is that. The third tip is, and I'm going to just pitch this just slightly different, is bring yourself a boost of oxytocin. So what do I mean by that? Oxytocin is the thing that it's a hormone. It goes in your body, right? And it starts exploding when it gives us the feel good stuff. So it's like the goosebumps, the like warm and fuzzies, like the unicorns and rainbows. It's like all that happy stuff. That's what it does. Now, you can make that trigger. Okay, so when a woman gives birth, right? I've never done this before. So all you mamas, love you, praise to you for raising all of these humans. But when a woman gives birth, there's studies that show that this oxytocin just explodes in through the woman's body. And this is what gets the connection between mom and baby, a like super bonding moment at that moment. And a really cool thing is how you can tap into it is when you do something nice for somebody else. Doesn't that make you feel good? Like, doesn't that make you feel good? Something nice where you don't expect anything back from them. Right? And guys, this is free. This could be free. It could be, opening the door for someone as they walk in, or it could be, you got, I don't know, like you're in the I was at the grocery store yesterday. So you're in the grocery store, but you come out in the parking lot and there are shopping carts everywhere, and you bring in a couple shopping carts, right? Nobody saw you and you didn't do it for anybody specifically, but maybe it made you feel good, right? Maybe if you're seeing someone walking and they're carrying a lot of stuff and they drop something and it's awkward for them to, bend over and pick it up. So maybe you pick it up and you hand it to them. Wouldn't that make you feel good, right? You're not expecting anything back from them. Okay, so maybe you get a thank you, cool, but you don't expect anything back. It's like random acts of kindness. That thing is you being selfish. So I want you to take on this. I'm going to be selfish and I'm going to do something nice for somebody else because it's going to make me feel good. Like, I totally love, you guys have seen me say the Wealth Wednesdays, where I give money to a stranger, right? Just, it's a spin-off, right? So it's a random act of kindness, but the way that I do it is focused on money because it also shifts your money mindset. So I tape $5 to the gas pump, or I would get coffee cards and I'd stick them on the windshield wipers or something like that. So drop some comments down below and tell me, what are some random acts of kindness you've done? Like if you've ever shopped at, I think it's Aldi. It's been a long time, but you have to you rent the cart. So you give it 25 cents and then you take your shopping cart and do your shopping and then you come back and then you get your quarter back, right? At least I think that's how it works. It's been a long time, but I remember when I first started this, I would leave the quarter there. So someone else gets to do it, or pay for someone behind me in the drive-through. I started that because of me, not because of anybody else, not because I thought it'd be really cool to make someone's day. No, because I thought making somebody else's day would be really cool to help me get that flow of oxytocin, right? So if I'm getting flow of something and I'm feeling happy, then my perceived value of myself goes higher and higher and higher. And it's just that simple. So it doesn't have to be with money, right? Ileana's paid for the coffee and the person behind me. Oh, I love it. I love it. And how did that make you feel, Ileana? How'd that make you feel? Did it make you feel good? Make you feel like, oh, yeah, right? Or I've done it before where I've been at a restaurant, this was before COVID, and I'd call a waitress over and I'd give her some money and say, here, this is going towards their tab. I don't know what their tab is because I was leaving I've done it before. Like there was this cute, oh, I love this one. There was a cute little old couple and they're eating breakfast and they're sitting on the same side of each other. I mean, there had to be like 80, 90 years old, and they're having their breakfast and they're snuggling next to each other in the same side booth. It was so cute to see. And they were finishing up their meal when I was about halfway through. So I called their waitress over and I paid for them. They didn't know where it came from. I didn't tell them. It was total secret. I didn't tell them. And they got up and they're like, oh, yay. But you know what? For me, I was like, I feel amazing. And that made my whole day go better. But here's where it happens. You want to talk about the trickle effect. So do it for yourself to feel good. Do a random act of kindness for somebody. It could be a stranger. The only reason why I say not to be like friends or family, because sometimes friends or family internally, whether you want it to or not, internally, they'll start to feel like, I have to do something back. Or if you give them something, let's say, you bought them a little trinket or something and you give that to them because you're like, oh, I thought of you, so here's your thing. Well, they may, and I don't know, but they may think, oh, I have to do something different. So you might have a different effect if it's within your inner circle of friends and family. This is why doing it with strangers is so powerful, right? Angela did it for an old man eating alone at Denny's. Oh, it's so cool. So I bet you that made you feel awesome. So first of all, you're going to do it because selfishly, right? I want you to be selfish. Selfishly, it's going to make you feel amazing. It's going to amp up your personal perceived value because you're like, I am awesome. I paid for this guy's meal. I paid for their coffee. I opened the door for them. I brought the shopping cart in. Whatever awesome thing that you did, I am awesome because of it. Your brain's gonna be like, yes, I'm awesome because of this. I am worthy because of this. I'm incredible because of this. Then what's also going to happen, so first of all, it's for you, and it's totally okay to be selfish. What's also going to happen is the person that is on the receiving end is going to have a flow of that oxytocin, and they're going to feel awesome. Like they're going to feel good. They're like, oh, I'm worthy of receiving this. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, that was so cool. Such a surprise. You're going to have that flow of oxytocin. That's a trickle effect. Like it's kind of like, you have a flat mirrored lake and you take a little pebble and you drop it in there and like the little waves go off around it. That's what I just imagine is the person on the receiving end. Because imagine if you are on the receiving end of a random act of kindness where there was no obligation to return the favor or whatever. It's just, wow, whoa, like this is really cool. Like, thank you, universe, for bringing this happiness to my life. It's because you've got that flow of oxytocin and that stays with you for a long, so as soon as it's triggered, it stays with you for a long time. And of course it'll come back down. I mean, it's a hormone, so your body's going to absorb it and do all that stuff. Right? So now you've done it for yourself and you've done it for somebody else. And then the really cool thing, like this is super, the power of random acts of kindness. There are studies that have now showing that if somebody observes this random act of kindness, so let's say that, let's pick a good example. Let's say that there's a mom coming out of a store and she's got bags of groceries and she's got kids and she's got 2 kids and they're all just, running around crazy. And she's trying to contain the kids and keep them safe, not running across the parking lot street. And she's got all her stuff and she drops a bag. Like the bottom of the bag just rips and everything just falls out. And I go over there because I see this. I happen to be there at this time. I go over there, I pick up the stuff, I help her carry it all the way to her car. Right? She gets the kids in, I get her groceries in, and I just said, have a great day. Don't expect anything from her. I just help her in that moment. And I feel amazing because I'm like, yes, I am an awesome person. I'm kind. I'm a good human. And she feels like, oh, this nice stranger just helped me. And she's probably mad at her kids, but she's like, I feel so much better. Like there's good, kind people in the world. Right? So I've helped myself. flow of oxytocin. I've helped her flow of oxytocin. And then somebody happens to be watching this. They're about to go in the store. They watch me do this whole process of picking up her groceries and helping her to the car. And as I'm going back to walk into the store, this person stops me and say, I saw what you did. That was really awesome. That person has flow of oxytocin in their body. They feel good, that kind of a restoration of humanity. There's good things that can happen. This person's a good person. She helped the stranger out. I can do the same thing. There are now studies that are showing observation of good things happening in the world boosts oxytocin, which is like that feel good energy flow, right? I call it unicorns and rainbows. It brings in all the goodness. So you watching this have the power. So you can say, I am powerful. Why am I so powerful? It's because you change at minimum, at least 3 people's lives with one act of kindness. That's exponential. Like, I'm not a math whiz, so maybe that's the wrong word for you math people, but going from 0 to 3, that sounds like a pretty big jump. And you have the power to do that with just that one thing. So those are 3 tips that you can shift your own personal internal feeling of value. So that's affirmations of I am statements, and then affirmations, which is asking yourself a question so your brain can find the answer. And the third is a random act of kindness for a stranger. It doesn't have to include money, right? This isn't my Wealth Wednesday, but just a random act of kindness for a stranger. Those are 3 amazing things that you can do. 2 of them are totally free, and one of them can be free if you don't do it with money involved, that you can shift your own value. And when you start believing in your value and the value that you can bring to other people, when you start believing that, you can change more people's lives, because they'll see your value too, your product, your service, your opportunity. You'll be making more sales. You'll grow your business, and you're going to 10x it. So who is ready for that? Right? Those are 3 tips I have for you. Drop me down in the comments. Do you guys have any questions? Right? Did you love this? Was this beneficial? I know, lots of questions for me. I just want to make sure I am providing you guys with the quality stuff that's going to help just shift your business. And I know I just changed the name of this group to Digital Marketing Strategy, because again, my brain is very strategic. I'm contemplating changing it to Mindset and Strategy, because you guys, I talk about mindset so much. It's changed my entire life. Susan. And Deanna's like, I love it. Thank you so much. Reminds me to get back to affirmations, whichever one you want, right? If affirmations, those I am statements work for you, totally cool. Rock them out. It took me probably about 1.5 years to maybe 2 years before I could go back to an I am statement and actually believe it. That's how doubtful I was. Like, that's how much I devalued myself. And I'll tell you what, the really cool thing is the increase in value that I believe in myself has shown in my bank account. Like, it's gone boop, boop, boop. So I want to help you guys get the same thing. I want to have you get the same impact. And that's why I show up for you. I'm in this group every single day. I'm trying to bring in additional content. I'm always thinking, like, what can I do? What can I do to get you to the next level? So if you have any suggestions for me of like, hey, Corey, this is where I'm stuck, or hey, this is what I would like to do, I don't know how, or I don't really know if this is the right path, hey, post it up in the group, or ask me the question. If you're thinking it, I guarantee you that you're not the only one. Like, there's other people thinking it, other people feeling it, and let me help you the best that I can. Right? If it's not something that's in my zone of genius or wheelhouse, I'll go out and find an expert, and I'll bring in an expert, and we'll do an interview to help you get to the point where you want to be in your business and your mindset shift. So that's what I got for you guys today. I love you. Sending all of the love to you so much. So pick one of those affirmations, or random act of kindness. Just pick one and do it for 7 days every day. And watch you transform your value. All right. I love you guys. Go out, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.